Hi everyone, this is the tutorial for the Make Your Own Bath Bomb Kit by Glad. When you open your kit, inside you'll find an instruction card that you should read all the way through before starting. For safety, there's a face mask to protect you from some of the powder which can get fluffed up into the air when you're mixing it. You'll also find 4 bags of pre-measured ingredients, a pair of gloves, some paper cupcake liners, a reusable metal bath bomb mold, a small bottle of alcohol-free witch hazel, 2 fragrances, and 3 colors. Okay, let's get started. Remember that instruction card that I told you to read that you pulled out of the box and put aside? Yeah, you want to read it, so now's the time. Put on your gloves and your mask. Now once we're safe, we're going to open up the bags of ingredients. Starting with baking soda, but you can start with any bag you want. You want to be really careful when you're pouring it out. Do you see the way that I've got the bag touching the powder? That stops it from getting really fluffed up into the air. So we're going to do the rest of the bags the same way. I'm just going to speed the video up just a little bit because this is a little boring to watch. But just make sure that you're being really gentle with it, making sure that you're not getting it all too much in the air. The cornstarch can be a little bit annoying to get out of the bag, but just give it a few taps and you should be good to go. So now we're ready to mix. You can use a spoon at first to very gently and slowly mix your powders together. The best way, however, is to get right in there with your hands. And the reason is there are lumps in the mixture that need to be broken up, and it's much easier to feel them with your fingers than with a spoon. So you just break up any lumps that you find and go through your entire mixture to make sure all of those little pieces are broken up. You don't want any lumps in the final mixture. So I've sped up the video a bit again here because it's really a lot of mixing. And you'll see when you do it yourself that it's quite a bit. You have to make sure that there are no lumps left. Once it's lump free, now's the time that you're going to split your batch in half and put one in one bowl, one in another. I'm not going to do that for this video because it's easier to work with one, but if you want to make 2 different kinds, you'll have to split it here. Also, I'm adding some oil to my mixture to make it a little bit more moisturizing. I'm using sweet almond oil, but you can use olive oil or grapeseed oil in your bombs if you'd like. The amount is about 1 teaspoon per half, or 2 teaspoons for 1 whole bowl. Now whenever you add a liquid to your mix, you're going to want to use your spoon and press it down with the back of it. Just press it into the mixture a bit. You're not trying to get the lumps out, you're just trying to stop it from fizzing. Keep in mind that if you do add oil to your mixture, it might make your bathtub a little bit slippery. So now's the point where you would use your fragrance oil, so choose the one that you'd like to start with. Open the bottle, and you're going to pour a few drops into your mixture. Don't pour the whole thing right away. I find it's easier to add more if you need more than to add too much right off the hop. So again, we've added a liquid. We're going to press it down into the mixture with the back of the spoon to stop it from fizzing. Because we've added liquid to our mixture again, there's going to be more lumps that need to be broken up. The best way to do this is with your hands, so get right back in there and start mixing. And give it a smell to see if you like the fragrance. Well, I like the fragrance, so I'm going to go ahead and add color. I chose red because I want a light pink bath bomb, and it goes really well with the scent I chose, which is Japanese cherry blossom. So you see how it's fizzing there when I added it? You want to stop that fizzing by pressing it into your mixture with the back of a spoon like we did before, and then mix with your hands to incorporate it. So at this point you're going to start to notice that your mixture is changing in texture again, it's going to become a bit more clumpy, a little bit like moon sand. See? That's good, and that's what we want it to be like. So I want to add more color because I want it to be more pink. You can add as much color or as little as you'd like. It's your choice. Just work quickly when you add the color because you don't want that to fizz up in your mixture. Sometimes it's hard to tell what the texture should be, especially when it's your first time, but when it starts to clump together like this, you're almost ready. Take your bottle of witch hazel and give your mixture a couple of spritzes, maybe 2 or 3, 4 or 5 at the max. You don't want to do too much because you could ruin your bath bombs with too much liquid. So once you've sprayed it, you want to mix again. And the true test here is whether or not your mixture is staying together all clumped up like you see in the video. That's when it's almost ready. Now it's only going to need a couple more sprays at this point, and keep mixing really, really well. It's better to have your bath bombs be too dry than too wet. You see how they're staying together? That's exactly what you're wanting. At this point you can probably start molding, except I know that on some of the edges of mine it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Because this is your first time, try molding right away with your mold and see if it stays. So take your mold and you're going to fill 1/2 heaping. Don't pack it down, just leave it loose and heaping. Take the other half and do the same thing. Make sure you've got lots in each half, and you're going to press them together really tight and take out all that excess from the middle ring there. The secret to really good bath bombs is making sure that they're pressed really tight. You want to press really hard with both hands together to make sure it's packed as tight as possible. Now take the one side off, it should come off really easily, flip it over and gently try to remove the other side. If it doesn't come, you might have to tap it gently with your fingers, and there you go. I'm just wiping away the excess around the edge there. Just do this very lightly with your finger, and then you're done. After making a few bath bombs, your mixture might start to dry out a little bit. If this happens to you, just grab your spray bottle and spray a few more times to get the texture back to the way it should be. And then mix again. Try not to add too much. Again, we want it to be drier, not wetter. The way you'll know if your texture is right is if, when you mold your bombs, they stay together when you unmold them. So we're going to press really tight here, just like we did before. Wipe away the excess and see if we got the texture right. Looks like we did. Wipe away that ring, and you've got another bath bomb made. Sometimes things can go wrong with your mixture. It can be too dry, it can be too wet. You cannot pack your molds tight enough. When this happens, you'll notice that some of the things are really obvious. So sometimes if you pack a bomb too lightly, your bomb will actually just fall apart in your hand, like that. So you want to make sure you get the right amount, and it's going to take some practice, so don't be too hard on yourself if this takes a lot more work for you. You're just learning, and it's brand new. I've done this a lot, so go easy on yourself and just keep trying. This kit should make 6 good-sized bath bombs, depending on how tightly you've packed your molds. If you're left with a little bit in your bowl after you made your last whole bomb, what you can do is fill only 1/2 with whatever's left and press it really tightly into the mold to make a small extra bath bomb for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you have a lot of fun making your bath bombs. Thanks so much for watching.